Well, I want to talk about teaching first, and then we'll talk about the history. How did everybody learn?
But then once I did come up here and connect with some other rappers, that's when you get those cool rap talks going, and that's when you start learning some, hip hop, like 300 level hip hop stuff, like
Criticism too.
yeah, criticism too, but like that's when you start learning, oh, multis are important.
The mentorship was important. I was actually mentored a lot of my hip hop. I learned from
Part of it that's intuitive, I think, and you have to kind of go with your intuition, go with your gut, and create something different. And it's you have to search harder to find that stuff that's not mainstream. And so I've been really influenced by people like Bahamadia or Jean Grey, although I don't rap at all like them in many ways, but they're big influences for me. So I think there's this like mixture of what you got already and what you want to be and like what you see. And
it was like this search for an outlet, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know it was poetry, but I would always write, and you'd get home from school and all these things you had pent up in your head that you wanted to say and couldn't, I'd write it down. And then finally I saw someone do spoken word, and all of a sudden it's that moment where your intuition meets something that you didn't even know existed, and they like collide. And then you realize, I really have to do this thing. And I think everybody here can kind of share that period of obsession when you're like, oh, I just discovered, when you first discovered rap, or when you first,
like crazy,
and you just want to watch all the videos and you want to just take it all in. And I think and speaking on documentation, if we didn't have any of that to look to, I don't really know where any of us would be. But it's the idea that you can reach back and pick from what other people have done in finding out who you are, I think is major.
You're coming up. We weren't given any opportunities. We created our own opportunities, and then other people wanted to join our party. So I think that is something that we need to have regardless of whether we're male or female, because when I look at what TT did with the Breath of Poetry Collective, what she's done is now creating opportunities for both men and women. But she had to create something first, and that helps with the whole scene.
Yeah. Were you really interested in hip hop much before you came to iHuman, or did it kind of come to you through being at iHuman?
Good question. I wasn't sure if that was going to come up because I like my response to it because it's because you know how in any sort of journalism, any music journalism, they always talk. It's like comes up every couple of years now. White kids from the suburbs are listening to hip hop, right? Like they've announced it sometimes. Well, that's me. Like that. I was in that. So this question of how did you learn a little further, because that's one thing that I struggle with, being in a position where I'm educating people within this context. I really want there to be a solid theoretical foundation. I really want to be able to...
Amen.
Thank you. I really want to be able to say, no, it's like this because, and follow, because all other music falls under rules. And I'm
more structured way of thinking, but at the same time have that ability to think outside the box. Because sometimes we'll work with musicians who, if we say, okay, well, they'll be like, well, musically it's not right. And you'll be arguing with them, and it's off that feeling. Because music, like music is about a feeling. Like you could have the perfect chord structure, you could hit the perfect note, but if people don't feel it, then Bob Marley was about feeling. Lauryn Hill was about feeling. Any great folk singer is about feeling. Hip hop is about feeling.
Or you can't really control genius with a theory. The genius makes the new theory, and right now that's like hip-hop.
Learning through kind of careful, reflexive analysis about what it means to be a member of a healthy and vibrant culture, and how to bring that into a classroom to reverse what goes on in schools. We well know for a long time that schools are a factory of alienation. 40 or 50 years, radical teachers haven't really focused on how to develop voice.
I don't know, for me, starting the radio station was just all about giving a voice to local and Canadian artists. To start this internet radio station, we have 100% control of it, and we're just able to provide that platform for artists who are serious and really want to be heard. And
your message as an artist. If you have nothing to say, then don't say it. I don't believe in stifling people, but I think it is important to feed a generation of people who have important messages. Yeah. So before you even get to, okay, this is how you write a rap song, what is your message?
Our job was, at that point, was to get the kids writing raps outside of what they were used to, and to try to learn how to say something in any topic they could, and learn how to rap it and flow it, and to make fun songs. That was our thing. Within that, these kids do say a lot of like crazy things, like messages and like stuff like that.
We're taught to kind of do this all the time, and I think the relevance and more than the relevance, the medicine that hip hop can be capable of is that it's teaching emceeing on a basic level is that same storytelling and oral tradition. It's communication. It's teaching us to be communicators and to talk not just about like the whatever feel-good messages. We talk about the really hard shit that is so difficult for us to talk about, but this is a really powerful way to communicate those things. Also bring in all the elements of hip-hop culture, which say you don't just have to be an MC, you can be a graph artist, you can be a dancer.
You have to.
You can be anything.
You have
and
to, in order.
you can bring all of those elements together. And so in the context of school or whatever, I would look at it as like, you may belong to one clique, but hip hop doesn't tell you just to stick with your clique. It tells you that we're part of something bigger and we're part of a community, and that's what I consider to be like the medicinal kind of foundation that hip hop brings. It's not just about ripping apart a rap, which is fantastic to do in an English class.